వెళ్తాం. Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Gauri, and I welcome you all to this wonderful session today evening. And I hand over to India to introduce our guest here.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Over to you,
everybody.
India.
Okay. Today is our 5th online session by Brainchild Trust. This session is taken by Ms. Manju Bhargavi, PR. Ma'am has completed her MSc, B.Ed and Diploma in Autism from Rehabilitation Council of India. She also holds a Diploma in Art Therapy and is a certified handwriting trainer. Ma'am is currently working as coordinator and parent trainer at Sangamitra Early Learning and SI Center, Bangalore. Very glad to have you today, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Let me first share the screen and then move on. Okay, I hope everybody can share this, can see the screen. I need a thumbs up.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. First of all, very good evening to one and all present over here. I express my immense gratitude towards the Brainchild Trust, the brains behind the Brainchild Trust, that is Dr. C.P. Ravi Kumar and Dr. Gauri Chintalapalli, for taking up this topic, which is of very much need in the current generation of digitalization. Welcome you all for today's workshop. As introduced, I'm Manju Bhargavi. I hope I will be able to help the most of you who are present over here. Moving on to the presentation, let's first understand what is the purpose of today's meeting. We are all here to understand the difficulties a child faces to write. Yes. And we are here also to help. We are here also to understand how to make writing structured, easy and exciting for children. It's not an easy way to, it's not easy. Handwriting is not that easy, keeping in mind the distractions that children have and the digitalization that children are introduced to. Before moving on to any further discussions, I would like all of us to introspect about a little of this. Do really the current generation children need writing skills? Please feel free to chat, or you can raise your hands and then express your viewpoints regarding the same. And then we will continue. Any one of you?
I think, yes, it is important because these days kids have to attend schools and do their homeworks, complete their notes, their exams, and writing is also a part of communication, right? So it's very important for kids to have a good writing skill.
Thank you so much, Amir, for that. You have explained the next few things for me. Yes, as we all know, writing is very essential. Yes. Let me take you through the next most important things that the child needs. See, look, as Amir already discussed, they need handwriting skills for all these things. That is, they need writing skills to copy from board. And again, in time. There is a 45 minutes time gap that the child gets in a classroom, or a 3 hours time to finish up an exam, or another 15 days to finish up a project or a report book. For everything, they need to write, and that has to be in time. And handwriting is very essential with respect to that. Again, to complete their notes in school, again, in time. To write their exams, in time. To express their thoughts and feelings. Yes, you need to have a good handwriting. If you don't have a writing skill, maybe your love letters may not be as expressed as it can be. writing assignments, exams, projects, record books, so many things. Again, if you look at the functional aspect of it, you need to learn to have your signatures, or else you will always be on your thumbprint, and that's not good, right? Fill in forms. There are many forms children have to fill in, or as adults we have to fill in. At least for that sake, we need to have a legible handwriting. May not be the best beautified handwritings, but we need to have a legible handwriting. Again, if we are required to write checks for a bank, we need to have writing. And for any other kind of written communication purposes, writing is very, very, very important. Now, let's discuss about what are the common difficulties that are faced by children. I have listed some of the things over here. If there are any more things apart from this, I would like the participants also to share. Now, number one, when a child is having writing difficulties, they have major difficulties with respect to the formation of the letters and the numbers. They may not be in the proper oriented way, or they may not be placed well, or they may not be sequenced well. They may not be able to take dictations if they don't have a good handwriting. They may not be able to copy from any source, that is board, book, digital media. Now, as you know, the whole of their schooling system, that is from their 4 years age to the 22 years of age, they need writing. Yeah, and most of the things in their preliminary ages is about to book copy, right? If they don't have an appropriate handwriting skill, or if they don't know the proper writing methodologies, then again copying becomes a very big task for them. Like, there are some children who may not be able to copy things from the board in that particular time. So what do? We have WhatsApp media. Parents are given information about the notes that are being done in school, and children are expected to complete at home. At least a child should be able to look at the digital media and write. Or if not, they should be able to take dictations from the parents. Next, they may not be able to complete any given worksheet or notebook in a time. Yes, and then if they don't know to orient the letters well. Now, as you look at some of the pictures I've seen over here, these will be the writing of children. Yes, orally they may be exceptionally good. They may be able to express anything and everything orally. But if they are not able to put the same across in a written expressive mode, it becomes very difficult when you're only assessed on the written mode of communication, right? Apart from these, are there any difficulties that your children have been facing? I would also look into that. Those, if any one of you can please share your views, that will be great. Any one of you? If there is a silence, then I will move on to the next thing. Now,
ma'am, one thing I want to tell, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
There is also a complaint of not even liking to hold the pen or pencil. Initiating also, that is also a problem and complaint.
Yes, good. That we see at a very young age. Good. Initiation to just pick up a pencil. Hatred towards writing.
Yeah.
The color pencil. Thank you for that. Thank you for bringing it up. Any other concerns?
No, ma'am. This was
okay. Good.
Now, on the chat, we have 2 responses. One is improper spacing. That is Sri Varsha is mentioning that. And Melita is saying writing too lightly or dark with too much pressure.
Yes. Thank you for bringing this up. Yes, these are the common difficulties faced itself. Children don't know the spacing between the lines and the letters and the words, right? That's one of the important difficulty, very major difficulties faced by children. And the next one is the pressure that they are supposed to have. Either it is too light or either it is too dark on the paper. That also becomes a concern. If they are too light, then it's not legible. If it is too dark, then they may spoil the paper and there may be imprints on the second sheet. It may not be appropriate when you write in the next page. Yes, thank you for bringing this up. Now, let's look at how do we deal with this. Yes, now there is a 22 years of writing span that children have to face in their whole of their schooling and college life. How do we deal with it? Do we start once they join school, or is there anything that we have to start from as early as possible? Now, just a moment. Yes, as I was telling you, writing doesn't happen when a child goes to school. Yeah, a writing or a pre-writing skill for a child starts from a very, very, very early age. Now, I will be sharing across with you in the next few slides about the developmental order of writing skills or the pre-writing skills, which is very, very, very important for any child to develop if they should have a good writing skills going ahead. Now, the first and foremost skill, considering from the age 1.8 years, is the child should be able to at least sit for 4. Okay, 4 is too much. 2 to 3 minutes or 2 to 5 minutes for any preferable activity. We are not only concentrating about writing over here. They should at least have the sitting tolerance for an activity. If a child doesn't have a sitting tolerance, then writing a structured event, it may not be possible. Now, imitation skills are very, very, very important. Writing, learning to write is an imitation, right? The child should be able to imitate however the teacher shows it. Yeah, if the teacher shows on the left, the child should be able to understand and write on the left. Yeah, at this age, we may not be able to expect a spatial orientation, but at this age, children should be able to imitate, yeah, anything that is shown. Now, at this age, that is from 1.8 years to 2 years, random scribbling with crayons are started. Again, if the child is exposed to. If children are not exposed to these skills at an early stage, then I think it's high time that we introduce these things apart from the digital media that we are projecting to children. Should be able to imitate by this year, that is 1.8 years to 2 years, children should be able to imitate various scribbling strokes. Yes. Now, by 2 years, children either will be able to draw or trace vertical lines, horizontal lines with little help. Again, here, it is not a handheld help. It may be, they may need a little more explanation, understanding, or imitation or modeling when you're writing and showing, right? Very important skills that needs to be developed at an early age. Moving on to the next year, 2 to 3 years, a major year where their preschooling or starts, right? Children by 2.5 years, or nowadays I see children by 2 years itself landing up into daycare homes where they are made to do many activities. Yeah. Now by 2 to 3 years age, we should expect improved sitting tolerance. Yes, at least 5 to 10 minutes for any activity. They should be able to, by now, they should be able to identify their prominent hand, and they should be able to use it as much as possible. Yes. Now, by 2 to 3 years, children will be able to identify colors. With the CoComelon, children know colors before they talk. Yeah. So they should be able to identify colors. Next, by 3 years, by 2.5, 3 years, children can associate colors to objects. Yeah. Now, if there is anybody who's thinking that it is too much for a 3 years old, I'm sorry, children are very, very, very talented nowadays. With all the exposures that children are getting, they are much more better than us. Yes. So they can associate colors to objects. They can try to color within boundaries. Now, if you can see the little bit of template that I've put, that is in by my daughter. So they can scribble that much. Again, by 1.5 years to 3 years, till 4 years, we may not expect perfection. Please don't expect perfection with respect to children. Now, again, they can draw lines and circles.
Sorry for interrupting you. I think there's an audio issue. Is it just me, or
okay.
What about others? Are they able to hear you?
Am I audible?
Is it audible, sir? Audible.
It's audible, ma'am.
I think it's my
audible,
connection.
ma'am.
Let me check my connection there.
Yeah,
Audible,
it was
ma'am.
probably connection. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry for interrupting you.
No
That's
problem.
okay, sir. Not an issue. Happens on an online mode. Not an issue. Okay, getting back to the platform. 2 to 3 years platform, they should be able to draw lines and circles. Yes. Now, moving on to the next developmentally appropriate pre-writing skills that children should have. Number 1, by now, any child should have a good sitting tolerance for 10 minutes or more, any activity. Yes. By now, children have a good tripod and a quadrupod grasp. Now, tripod is this, which involves 3 fingers. If you're able to see me, quadrupod will be using all the 4 fingers. That is the thumb, the index, the middle finger, and the ring finger. Yeah, this. Or the tripod is this, which involves thumb, index, and the middle finger. Yes, either they have a grip like this, or either they have a grip like this. Yeah, children should be corrected, can be corrected if they have a holding like this. This may not be a good hand holding if they are writing. Yes. Now, moving on to the next one. They should be able to independently color a single worksheet. Yeah, whatever worksheets you give them, worksheets here are, even if you don't have any kind of big books, right? At least if you draw simply something and then give, they should be able to color. Yeah. Some children may also be able to color two copy coloring, like the house that I have that is shown over there. They will be able to do one color up and one color down too. Yeah, they can copy 2 to 3 step coloring too. Again, everything if they are introduced to. If they are not introduced to any of these skills developmentally, then the preschool plays a major role in bringing up all these things with respect to their writing skills. Yeah, they should not be starting anything with respect to like a coloring book. They may not be able to do so. Yeah, again, it is not anything is okay. There is an attitude, a common attitude going, it's okay. Likh raha hai, likhne do. I think that's one of the aspects which we really have to hold back when we are introducing writing skills to children. Yes, it is not okay to write improperly. There is a way, there is a structure which they have to write, and they have to write it in the same way. There are many methodologies to help children go through these. Okay, so you may feel that too much structuring them will bring in stress. No, I don't think so. Structuring them from a very young age will really bring them up beautifully. You may not have any difficulties at the age of 7. Moving on, they will be able to write different types of lines and curves. Yes, please make a note of all these things, because these are very important as you test a child. When we come up to assessments, these will be some of the things that you really have to test them upon to, or assess them upon to understand at which functional level with respect to writing they are. They can understand orientation of the book. By 3 years of age, they know what is top, what is bottom, what is in the middle. Yes, to your left, to your right. They may be able to understand the orientations very well. Yes. Next, by 4 years of age, they can copy simple shapes with lines and circles. Like it can be just a lollipop, which is a circle and a standing line. Yes, they should be able to copy anything with respect to simple shapes. Yeah, simple lines also it can be. That's with respect to 3 to 4 years. Now, going ahead with the next slide. I hope you all can see the next slide. It is 6 to 7 years of age. Now, major handwriting period, where children are at their first grade and the second grade, where they have a huge load of writing, which starts with all the 7 subjects. There is a spike in their writing skills. Now, by 6, 7, children should be able to, number 1 skill, they should be able to independently draw or color a sheet given. If they are not able to do independent, then I think we need to look back at what is the amount of sitting tolerance they have, what is the amount of interest they have. If they have disinterest in that particular thing, then we need to check what is that they like and then give them. Let's not get into intervention now. Let's go ahead with the developmental order of pre-writing skills. Can write most of the letters and numbers in the given space. Yeah, the space may be big, For now, by 6 years, they are expected to write in the kuti 4-line notebooks. So they are expected to write. Can copy simple words or sentences from the board. A very, very, very important skill, because everything goes on the board. It can be the green board, it can be the black board. They should be able to identify letters from the board, and they should have that much of attention to look and write. Can also maintain by now, if they are introduced to spacing. Now, there are many methodologies that we use to teach spacing also to children. I will come to that when we are dealing with the intervention part. Can maintain good spacing between the letters and words. Can orient the written text according to the instructions given. Now, for example, if a teacher says date has to be written at the left-hand corner, they should be able to understand and they should be able to copy. If the teacher says write your name at the right-hand side, they should be able to write. Or vice versa, wherever the teacher asks. And if the teacher says, please place your drawing or draw something in the middle of the sheet or in the box given, they should be able to understand that. Again, there are some children by 6 to 7 years, they attain independent written expressions too. They write beautiful letters, beautiful quotes. It's very interesting to see those. Yeah, by 7 years, we can say that most the writing skills are attained in children. Yes. Now, before going to how to help, is there do anybody have any doubts in the developmental order of writing, or can I move ahead?
So there's a query whether 5 to 6 years the slide got missed.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Let me just check that. 4 to 5 years. Was it done? One second. I think I have missed.
4 to 5 was missed, ma'am. So this slide is missed.
This was missed. 4 to 5 was
yes,
missed?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. I think I did this, if I'm not wrong. I think I have missed the whole slide of 5 to 6.
Yes,
5 to 6. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think 5 to 6 itself, 5 to 6 and 6 to 7 will most probably have the same old skills. That is like whatever is there in the 5 years, they should have. Maybe we can take this slide itself as 4 to 6 years. That is almost up to the grade 1 standard, and then move on to 6 to 7. Yeah. Similar skills are expected in children at even 5 to 6 years of age. Yes. Can I go to the next one?
I just have a question before you move on to the next slide. Because there are few kids who cannot copy sentences and write on the notebook. There's an issue with coordination.
Yes.
Okay, so that's when they're writing something, the order won't be in a sentence or a structure how it's expected to be.
Yes. Now, whatever are the developmental milestones that are discussed over here are with respect to neurotypical children. Yes.
Okay.
Now, whatever I have discussed so far is with respect, keeping in mind the neurotypical children who have no concerns from the beginning. Yeah. When it comes to children with special needs or specific needs, they may not have attained these skills at their respective ages. Yes. So that's when we have our next slides coming in. We need to assess them, where they stand, what is their basic need of help, and then take them through the developmental areas of the pre-writing. I think I'll be able to help you when we move on to the next slide. How do we assess? What do we have to assess? Then I think I'll be able to help you with your query. Is that okay, sir?
Yes, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question. There are some kids who find it, the parents who come and say that the kid is able to copy from a child who is sitting next than from the board. It prefers, it's not that the child has some visual issue or any other kind of issues, but it prefers to copy from a friend who is sitting next to her or him. but not the other way around. So how do we help, or how do we assess that if the child has an issue, or how do we tackle this problem, ma'am?
Okay, number one, if the child prefers to look at his friend and write, I think it's okay. Number one, okay, unless and until the child is not disturbing the child who's sitting next to him, it's okay. If it's a preference by a child, it's okay. Now, the second thing, you should not be judgmental about anybody, but if the written text on the board by whomsoever is written is not legible, then again it becomes a copying issue. Yeah, it may not be for that child alone. The other children may also be facing, but I think some children have an innate ability to, it's okay, that they can identify written however it is, right? Like for example, if a teacher writing on the board, if they use cursive, too much of cursive, children may not be able to understand the writing. So we need to look at it in two aspects. How is the writing on the board? Is it legible, not legible? Can the child understand? If the child is not able to understand, then why is it? Is it the same across all the children? Or if it's just the child doesn't want to look up and look down and likes to copy from the next, I think it's okay. I think that should be okay. Again, if it's a preschool environment, at every point of the time, in most of the schools, teachers are supposed to write in 4 lines. Yeah, teachers are supposed to draw 4 lines on the board, and then they are supposed to write. Most of the things happens on print. Yeah, teachers are expected to write in print so that children are able to understand. Now, when children are introduced to cursive, when the children are introduced to cursive by the same teacher, they would have understood her writing format, and they would have got in tune to her. If that has not happened, then I think we have to look at the teachers. Second thing, it's okay to allow him to copy. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Any other questions, or can I move ahead? Silence?
No questions.
Thank you. Okay, Maunam Samati Lakshanam, going to the next slide. Very important, how to help children. Now, it can be neurotypicals, or it can be children with difficulties, any form of difficulties. Yeah, ASD, ADD, IED, LD, any children, you put children into any category. How do we help? First, there needs to be assessment. We need to assess at what level children are. Yeah. Next, we have to understand the level of the child and provide a proper intervention plan. Now, without understanding where is the developmentally appropriate level of the child, we may not be able to provide any help to any child. Next, there are many strategies that we need to use to children to improve their writing skills. Yes. Now, strategies may differ from children to children. The level of motivation also depends from children to children, and the interest also depends upon children to children. So as far as possible, when we are remediating writing skills, it has to be on a one-on-one basis. Now, if there are common complaints like spacing issues, or just formation of the children have not at all got the formation of the letters, then maybe you can club them 1:2. Yes. Let me go ahead with the next most important slides. Now, what are the main areas that we need to assess? Number 1, reading and writing. Why do we have to assess reading and writing? Now, reading and writing here doesn't mean that a child has to read you a novel. Any reading resource, the child should be able to at least. Now, what are the skill sets that we are looking into for writing? Number 1, sitting tolerance. For everything, there should be sitting tolerance. If the child doesn't have sitting tolerance, number 1, please work on sitting tolerance. Then move ahead. Or have timed intervention, like you may use counts again to improve whatever strategies we use to improve the sitting tolerance of a child. That is either by counting till 10, you scribble one sheet, keep a visual timer for the child and say for the next 3 minutes we are scribbling. Those are the strategies that we will be using to improve sitting tolerance. No sitting tolerance, then no formal writing happens. Next, the child should be able to label pictures. at least age appropriate pictures with respect to names, places, animals, things, whatever is surrounded by them, they should be able to label the pictures. Okay, again, if children are non-verbal, yes, they at least have to express through hours. There are many assisted communication devices, children should be able to use it. If children are not able to use that, if parents are not trained to use any assisted communications, are not willing to also, then at least when you ask them, pick up an apple and show, they should be able to pick it up and show. Those will be the basic minimum criteria that we expect during assessment. Yeah. Next, they should be able to color with pictures. Whatever picture you give them, however way they are, they have to color. Yeah. By their coloring itself, we will be able to know whether they are in the age 2 or they are in the age 5 level or they are in between these two. Yes. When you are giving a child to color, we can focus on their crayon grip. Yeah, what is the crayon grip? Can a child hold a crayon? Is the child disinterested to hold the crayon? Again, if the child is disinterested to hold the crayon, we need to do a little bit of ABC there. If the behavior is of throwing crayons, then we need to check why is the child throwing a crayon. Yeah, it's again another separate intervention plan that we need to look into. We need to, in general, we need to look at the crayon grip of the child. Is it proper? Is it not proper? And please make a note of these. Tracing skills. If the child is not able to draw lines or circles, at least whatever you give, simple lines, simple shapes, the child should be able to trace. Yes, this is the first area of assessment. Next, we need to check about the language and the literacy. Now, what does this mean? Children should be able to identify uppercase and lower letters. Now, this the previous sheet can be done for a child with a mental age of 2 to 3 years. Yes, or maybe 2 to 4 years, depending upon what is the assessment of the child. Now, coming upon to this, you can assess the language apart from the previous slide. This slide will help you to assess their literacy skills. Can the child identify uppercase and lowercase letters? The child should be able to identify. If they don't have identification, then we will not be able to start writing ABCDs for them. We will have to focus on identifying ABCDs. And we will be doing the pre-writing skills where there are many other skills like coloring, shading, copy coloring, copy drawing, all these things will be a part of it. Then we need to also assess a child whether they are able to follow simple instructions. Yes, like write it on the top, make a big line, make a small line, start from the top, come till the bottom. If you're giving verbal instructions, a child should be able to understand and the child should be able to follow you. Yeah. Then again, left to right concept also, the child should be able to understand. If the child is not able to understand these things, they will again come to the basic level of intervention. That is the first level of intervention, where we need to start from 1.8 years of age. Yes. Next.
There was one question by Vimala Anand.
Yeah.
Coloring pictures means we should see if the child is doing it well within the picture is the question. I think
I'm sorry, I didn't get it.
You're not able to hear me?
No, I didn't get the question right.
So coloring picture means we should see if the child is doing it well within the picture. I think within the lines, I think is what they mean.
No. See, again, if it's a child, this depends upon the age. What age? When you're asking a question, please type the age of the child that you are relating it to so that I can understand at what age group, what are we expecting from a child. Yes. Now, if it's a younger age child, a preschool child or a kindergarten child, coloring within the boundary, if it's okay. There are a little bit of shades coming here and there. It's okay. Yeah. They don't need to go inside the boundary, perfectly inside the boundary, color everywhere, every nook and corner. No. Now, if it's the coloring that we are expecting from 5 to 6 years of child, then I think yes, the child should be able to know that the child should be able to color within the boundaries. Again, if the child has been trained for that. If the child was not introduced for any of these skills in the previous years, then I think it's fair on our part to help them to get those skills. Yes? Is there any other question?
No, I think it is fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, so just to check before you move on, can everybody hear?
Yes, we are able to hear.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, please continue.
Thank you so much. Now, coming on to the next one, numbers and maths. Now, maths is not addition and subtraction. It's pure concepts that we are talking about when it comes to writing skills. They should be able to name the shapes. I think now most of the children can name shapes before, whether they are able to express themselves or not. They know what is ABCD. They know what are the different shapes. There are children who at school say trapezoid also for me, and I'll be like, wow, I never knew a trapezoid till I landed up in my high school. Names of shapes. A child should be able to know the names of at least the basic 4 shapes: circle, triangle, rectangle, square. Basic 4 shapes. Yeah. They should also be able to draw shapes. Now, for example, during an assessment, if you ask the child, what is this? What shapes are these? The child recognizes it, pass the child. If you ask a child to draw the shape, they should be able to draw. If they are not able to draw, then the remediation happens from drawing shapes. Now, drawing shapes is which year's developmentally appropriate skill? Can anybody answer me? I'm sorry, I may not be able to see the chat so well. So if you can answer me, that will be great.
4 to 5 years.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. 4 to 5 years. So if they're not able to draw a shape, then it means that we have to go back to the 4 to 5 year skills and then help them with that. Yeah. Children should be able to rote count numbers. Yes. If you show them 1 to 10, the basic test that we do is from 1 to 10. Yeah. If they're able to identify the numbers whenever you show, good, pass them. If they also can rote count, please pass them. It's okay. They may not, if they don't have an identification, then it means that we need to work on that. If they identify numbers, then we need to check how they write. Yes. Do they have a formal way of writing? Is the writing numbers correct or is it reversed? Yeah. Next assessment goes on with identifying big and small lines. Yeah. A very, very, very important test that we need to make when we're assessing children. They should be able to identify between big lines and small lines, a basic concept of math, big and small. They should be able to identify big and small, not only with the pictures that they have been shown on the flashcards or something. It should translate, or functionally it should be generalized to the lines and the curves too. Yeah, if you draw a big line, child should be able to say, or if you say, non-verbal children may not be able to say. If you ask them, show me a big line, they should be able to show you a big line. If they say, show me a small line, they should be able to show a small line. If they have not identified this, again, it's our duty to start from that particular skill, like introducing them to the concepts of big and small with various things and then moving ahead. Yeah. They should be able to sequence different shapes. Yeah. And the given figures in a given format. Any kind of a written text or anything, they should be able to sequence. Like, for example, when it is a square, there is a writing order of the square, right? This is okay, or making an L and then now I'm sorry, when I'm showing you, you might tend to look at a reversal way. Now, after I finish up this, I will take on to a writing material and I will show you the appropriate structural writing of each of the letters and the shapes so that you can get a note of that. You can make a note of that. Yes. Let me go to the next one. Now, once we have fairly assessed the child, the next there are main components of handwriting that we need to always focus on, right? Number 1, memory. Child should be able to visually recognize letters, numbers, and the different types of lines and curves too. Yeah, because all our letters and numbers are, as you look at the board itself, it's filled with lines, it's filled with different types of lines and curves, right? They should be able to visually recognize what am I writing. Next, orientation. Orientation is the main concept of writing. how do the letters face? Yeah, if my F is turning ulta, they should be able to understand that F will not turn this side, F will turn this side. Again, there are specific remediation procedures to teach the letters too. Yes. Next is placement. Now, placement is putting the letters and numbers on the baseline, wherever they are writing. Yeah. Placements play a main role in handwriting because all children are expected to write in 4 lines or on the square line books that they have. So placing each of them on the correct line is very essential. Yes. Next component of handwriting is size. Yeah. Now, smaller children, younger children between the age 2 to 4, we can expect to write big. It's okay to write big. Now, as age progresses, when they get into the formal writing mode, that is, I say 6 years, but I see children at 5 years finishing up writing so many things. It's okay. We cannot fight with the academicians. So they should be able to fit in that Kuti 4 lines book. Yeah, they should be able to minimize their written expressions or the written text in those few lines given to them. Actually, I have to thank the publishers. There are many books, the 4-line books, which are broad nowadays. So I think somebody has taken a very big decision in making a little broader lines. So it gives a little space for okay, I can say a child like me who has difficulty in writing. Yes. Starting. Now, after size, we have to look at the start of the letters. If the child is not taught to start the letter properly, then they end up in all the reversals. Yes. So where do each of the letters starts? That needs to be taught to children. Next comes sequencing. Yes. Sequencing is the order of the stroke, the order of writing. For example, if I take the letter F, there is an order or there is a sequence in writing the letter F. That is, first I draw the big line and then I go up, I write the first small line and then I jump to the middle and I make a small line. Yeah, there is an order and there is a sequence in everything. If that order is missed, why order? Because if you follow things in an order, then you're fast. If you don't follow the order, then you may not pick up the speed too. Again, when children write, developmentally, this is much more faster. That is, writing from top to bottom is much more faster than writing from this. You can test yourself. A down to up approach is always slow. A top down approach is always fast. So every letter has to be taught, or the start of the letters should be from the top, so that we help them eventually with their speed of writing. Next, another main component is control. Yeah, control is very essential. If you're asking a child to draw a circle, the circle should end at that dot itself. Yeah, it should not be. I think let me just check if I can annotate. Or I think I can move on to this at a little later stage. Let me just complete this. Control is very essential with respect to writing of any shapes and any letters. So controlling mainly comes from how well they have coloring skills. If they're able to color a particular shape within a boundary, then we know that the child can control his writing on a 4-line or in a square line notebook too. Spacing. Again, there was a question asked. Spacing is very, very, very essential. Now, the concept of spacing is taught to children from a very young age. If the concept of spacing is not inbuilt at the foundation level of writing skills, then spacing becomes a big issue when they go ahead. Yes. Now, if we look at the developmental order of writing that we all learned in our schools, we were given finger space. After every writing of a word or a letter, our teacher would say finger space. please keep a finger space, then go to the next letter. I think this started from writing the alphabets itself. Yes, once we A to Z, A, finger space, B, finger space, C, finger space. That's how we were taught. Yeah, now most of them don't use those traditional methods of teaching, and then we end up in handwriting difficulties with children. Going ahead, one again, words, we write O-N, on, finger space. Go to the next one, I-S, is, finger space. Yes, children tend to write a little open in the initial stage, but if they're able to understand if they're able to understand visually the model that you're writing, and if you ask them to bring them closer, if they will be able to bring it up. Again, this is a skill that needs to be inherent in children from a very young age. It's a preschool skill that we are talking about. Now, this is with respect to spacing. Now, these are the main 8 components that are needed for any handwriting to be legible. Yes. Let me take you through the next important aspect, plan of action. Now, keeping in mind the 8 components of writing skills, keeping in mind the developmentally appropriate skill sets that children should have, and keeping in mind age appropriately where they are, we have to develop a plan of action. Yeah. Now, plan of action is solely dependent upon where the child lies in their writing skill. Yes. Now, when we are preparing, whatever I am giving you is a general plan of action. Yes. We have to imbibe these specifically for children with the specific needs that they are. Yes. I think by end, I can also take up few children, and I can also help you up with giving you a proper assessment, or giving you a proper strategies to help them writing. Yes. Now, the general plan of action to be followed is, number 1, proper posture. Yeah. Children should have a proper sitting posture when they are writing. Now, it doesn't mean that they should always, you bring them a big table, big chair, give them all the facilities, right? No. Please do not over exaggerate. A proper writing space can also be sitting on the floor, the book on the ground, you can bend and write. Yeah, it's not difficult. Yeah, there are many comments that I get saying that, ma'am, children will bend too much, their head will pain. Let me tell you one thing, we all wrote like that. Yeah, I wrote like that. Many of the children who don't have a proper writing, the so-called facilities, are able to write well with the available resources. So please, again, when it comes to posture, they should have a good sitting platform. Look into the sitting platform. They have a table, well and good. If they don't have a table, it's okay. We have a beautiful floor. They can keep their book on that. Or you have writing pads, right? We all took writing pads for our exams. Our children don't know the concept of writing pads itself. Yes, writing pads, keep it on the lap and then teach them writing. Teaching them is not difficult if you don't complicate with things. No sophistications when it comes to any kind of learning. Please keep that in mind. Next, paper placements. Now, number 1, we need to teach children to place a paper appropriately. Like, for example, if I'm sitting like this, if this is my book, yeah, if this is my book, and if I'm writing like this, let me just tilt it so that I hope you all can see this. It can be straight or it can be tilted a little if I'm a right-hander. Yeah, if I'm a left-hander, the same principle applies. I tilt it like this so that it is easy for me to write both the ways. Yeah, it's easy for me and it's faster. Now, if I'm a right-hander, I tilt my book a little and then go ahead with my writing skills. For both left-handies and right-handies, same principle. Its only thing is, for right-handers, I tilt the book a little to the right, and for left-handers, I tilt it to the left. That's it. Okay. Now, introduce them to the next one is introduce them to the work or the helping hand. Yeah. Now, which is the helping hand? If I'm a right-hander, my left hand is my helping hand. Why should I use left hand? Again, when I'm writing, I need to hold on to the book or a paper. Yes, my left hand. Now, when I have two hands and when I have appropriate coordination between my two hands, I have to use this left hand so that my writing resource or the writing pad is appropriate. Yeah. Please ensure that all children hold their books when they are writing so that they have a good writing ability. Yeah. Now, if I'm a left-hander, the same principle, my right hand becomes my helping hand and my left hand becomes my writing hand. Yeah. I hold with my right hand and I write with my left hand. Yes. Now, also, please introduce to children tracing skills. Yeah. Again, if tracing is not only like you write and they trace, butter paper tracing. We all did it for our record books. Yeah. Give them a butter paper. Ask them to put a picture, like any colorful picture, and ask them to trace. That's an exciting activity if children are not interested in initially with the writing skills. So some of the old strategies are extremely interesting for current children because they have not seen any of these. Yeah. Now, stencil writing. We used stencils when we were children. Record books went in stencils. Now it's okay to write. Since the concept of it's okay is so formal or informal, whatever you call it, it's okay attitude. It's okay. Is writing? No, it's okay. Let me encourage him. Let me tell you, if you want your children to have at least a legible handwriting, you will have to train them the way they have to be trained. Yes. Using stencils will again help the left hand or the right hand holding, and it will be interesting for them to, that will build the concept of left hand. Yeah. Then using scale. Using scale should be taught as soon as they are in grade 1. Yes. Because when you're writing a dictation, very common thing, usually we see the teacher drawing the lines for them, or else most of the case I have never seen those lines also in schools. Please teach them to draw lines. That will teach them the left hand, use of left hand. If my helping hand is strong, then my written text will also be beautiful. Yes. Moving ahead to the next one. Now, these are the things that we need to work on. Again, keep in mind, this is for the neurotypicals that I'm looking at. Now, if there are any specific disabilities, then there are appropriate measures that we need to take. Now, coming on to the working on skills, appropriate holding of pencil. Yeah, teach them to hold. Before teaching them, number one, please allow them to pick up. Yeah, most of the times it has become we feel adults should be teaching resources. No, allow the child to pick up. If he picks wrong, then you correct. If he picks up right, then appreciate. Yes, there's no harm in appreciating. Very less we appreciate, as far as I have seen with the common trend of parenting. Before a child, again, before with anything with respect to problem solving, before a child can open a bottle, chilo, come, I'll open it for you. Now, I think this trend should stop. I think it's one of the major parenting skills that a parent has to develop. And I think this can be one of the next topics that we can take. Parenting skills, very essential. Moving on to the next one. They should have basic single boundary based coloring skills. Yeah. A single boundary, I mean, is the circle, allow them to color, draw an apple, allow them to color. You don't have to invest on the jumbo coloring books initially. Please use your handwriting skill, use your writing skills to give them drawings. If you don't have, please refer YouTubes. Yeah, YouTubes give you step-by-step approach to learn drawing. Please use the digital media to help you to help your children. Yes. Next, we need to work on 2 to 4 step coloring exercises. Now, 1 step coloring is coloring an apple. Yes. Two-step coloring is a nice candy. Yeah, that is make a cone and make I hope you're able to visualize these. If you're not able to visualize, please write it and then keep it across. Once I end the PPT, I will open up a writing pad, then I can show you what it means. Yes, for any of you getting doubts, please write it down and keep. I shall help you out at the end of the session. Next, after 2 to step 4 coloring exercises, copying skills. Now, copying skills, as we all know, is very essential for their schooling purposes. Now, they should be able to copy lines. When I say copy lines, it's copy. It's not paste. It's not even dotted lines. Yes, I personally don't prefer dotted writing, because dotted writing will, again, if it is not weaned off, children will not be able to visually space the letters on the page that is provided. So request you to please avoid dot joinings as much as possible. If it's a dot joining drawing activity, it's okay. But after that, please allow your children to copy the same onto a plain medium. Then we will be able to understand whether they understood the curves, whether it started from here. Where did one start? One started from the left, then 2 went here, 3 went here. They should be able to follow the same pattern in a non-dotted format, page 2. Yes. Copying skills with lines, with curves, shapes, and simple patterns. Any simple drawing exercises, they should be able to copy. It can also be step by step. It need not be you'd make a big drawing and ask them to copy. It can be step by step. Like, for example, to make a ladder. Yeah, if you have to teach a child to draw a ladder, you can first draw a big line to your left. Wait for the child to draw. You can either ask him to draw, or see and draw. Then ask him to leave little space, make another big line to your right. Next, let's start connecting from top to bottom. Let's leave 1 finger space, 1 finger space, 1 finger space, 1 finger space. We got a beautiful ladder, right? Now, these are the instructions that the children should be able to understand. Again, when the receptive skills of a child is less, then modeling is one of the best ways to help them. Yeah, they may not be able to take the dictation wise, but visually they may be able to see and copy you draw. Moving on to the next. Once they have achieved these things, the 4 things, that is the appropriate pencil holding, basic boundary coloring, 2 to 4 step coloring, 2 to 4 step copy draw, copying skills, then it's the time that we have to introduce them with the capital letters. Yeah, again, capital letters also always should be taught in a proper sequence. It is not okay to write A the way you write. No. Every letter has an order to write. I will be showing you the orders. You can make a note of that, and please ensure that you follow the order. Yes, then it is easy for children to write. Again, it is not my order, it is the developmental order. Yeah. Going ahead, now again, in the letter write, while we are teaching capital letters to children, we start, again, developmentally, children learn to write straight lines first, curves first. So we will teach all the letters which have straight lines and curves first. Yeah. So the first letter can anybody tell me what can be the first letter that I teach children? Developmentally appropriate first letter.
L.
L. Excellent. Good. Any other letter?
F.
I.
F. I. Good. Then
H.
H. Good.
6
T.
letters.
The letter Z.
F.
Z. No, Z has a slanting line. Slanting line is at a later.
F, ma'am.
S.
Letter
S.
T.
S. No, sorry.
O.
Too much of curves
O.
involved. C. O is fine.
V.
So always. Sorry, I didn't get you, Srilila.
Letter L.
Letter L. Yes. Yes. Letter L. Letter F. You missed out. What's before?
E.
E is also filled with straight lines. Yes. See, it's so difficult for us to reshuffle, right? It's easy if the children are taught like this. Again, you are cutting them from the rote memory that they are into. If a child is asked to write from A to Z, children will write. But if the same child is asked to write, if you give them a dictation with just the A to Z letters in a random way, they may not write. Yeah, if they write, good. They have picked up all the letters, they've identified all the letters. Yeah, it's a good exercise for children. Again, it's a memory exercise for them. This is where our memory comes in hand. If I know the letter, then I should be able to say the letter wherever you ask, whenever you ask. Again, generalization of identifying the letters in any format, in any font, in any color. Yes. Going ahead with the next ones, straight lines, letters we have told. Now there are letters which has a straight line and a curve. Can you tell me what are the letters which starts with a straight line and a curve?
B.
B. Excellent. Next.
B.
Very good. Next.
U.
U. Before you.
R. U.
R. P. Good.
P.
R. P is good. Which is the first letter which starts with a curve?
A.
C.
C.
B.
B.
B. C is the first one. B is the next one. Yes.
D like G.
G. Yeah, G has another small line. Okay, good.
J.
J. Okay, fair enough.
O.
O. Yes, C and O. If I'm able to write C, the next letter I should be learning is O, because it is half C. Full C is O.
Q.
Q.
R.
Yes. Not Q. Q has a starting line, so Q will be kept at a later stage.
Okay. R.
R also comes along with Q, because you know
Because
what?
it's got a slanting line.
Yeah, wherever slanting lines are
line,
there,
yeah.
it has to be taken towards the end, because developmentally children take slanting lines at the end. Now tell me which is
U.
the last two letters that I will teach child.
Q.
Last two letters.
Last
Q
two
and
letters.
Z.
Y.
Not Q.
K. K. K.
A. Yes.
K.
The first letter. A.
K.
K. A and K will be the last letters that we will teach. Yes, because most of and even Z. Yeah, Z at least one slanting line. So that can be the start of the formation of the letters. Z can be the first one, which has one slanting line. Another one slanting line letter is your R. Another one slanting line letter is your which is the other one? Z.
Y.
R.
Y.
M.
N. Y. M. N.
So see, if you now think, this will be the developmentally appropriate way of teaching letters to your children from the very young age. Yeah. If children don't have this, if they have attained a different way of writing, please correct them. Yeah. Please correct them before they develop a hatred towards writing. Yeah. So much corrections happen in school. So much of corrections happen at home. They should not develop, as I told you, hatred towards picking up a pencil. Yeah, it's okay. Even if they're at that stage, we have strategies to help them overcome with that stress of picking up a pencil too. Yeah. Moving on. Once they are thorough with the uppercase letters, then we will introduce them to the lowercase letters. Again, in lowercase letters, there is a proper way to teach them. Yeah, that I will again take you through that in the last, because I need to show you the writing order of it. Yes, there are funny names given to that. Since I did my certification with Learning Without Tears, I think you all can Google Learning Without Tears. You get beautiful worksheets, you get beautiful developmentally appropriate writing skills. Whatever I'm telling you today, it's from that main source. So please look into Learning Without Tears webpage. Initially, it was called as Handwriting Without Tears. Now it's transformed into Learning Without Tears. There are many free resources that you can get, which you can refer to when you are teaching them letters for children. Yeah. Then, most important, when you have introduced them to lowercase letters, before entering into the paper, yeah, to check whether the whole class is writing properly. Like, for example, if you're a preschool teacher and you have a whole classroom sitting of 13 or 30, and if you really want to know whether they all have the proper start and the sequence of the letters, air drawing of letters and numbers are the best practice. Yeah, now what is air draw? Now, if I ask you, can for a few seconds Can you all come on your videos so that I can know what is the start and the start that you have with your letters? Thank you. It's boring to see a black screen. I'm wearing black, my screen is black, and I'm talking also to a plain screen, so it's a little jittery. Thank you so much for all those who have poured on, whom I can see the faces. Okay, a quick test for all of you. Yeah, now air draw. Now we are drawing in the air. Okay, no pencil and paper, so you can drop your pencil and papers, and you can have your free hands. Okay, show me how to write the letter F.
Caps are small, ma'am.
Okay, capital letters. I intend capital letters. Sorry for not it. Capital F. Yeah, I can see this much letters. Okay, when you are teaching an air draw to children, it is really big. Okay, because when I'm sitting in a classroom for so long time, and if you have to involve a little bit of movement-based activities in your classroom, please teach them to write big. They have to use their full hands, because writing usually is only this, right? All the time shoulders get heavy. So a little bit of exercise through this is writing. Yeah. Now all of you, can you write F with me? Air draw F with me, from wherever you are. Okay, so let's start big. Okay, from the topmost of your screen, let's write F. Down, jump up. One letter this side, one letter this side, one sleeping line. Sorry, I did ulta because I don't know how you are visualizing me. Okay, if I'm doing right, if you're seeing right, then my letter will be ulta for you. Okay, so whatever it is, your F will be a right oriented letter. So start with a big standing line, jump up and make a small sleeping line to your right, jump to the middle, and a small sleeping line to your right. Yeah. Again, each of the letters will help you understand the orientation that they are having. Yeah. With every letter, you can teach them right, left. With every letter, you can teach them top to bottom. Yes. That's how we all intend to teach them in air. Before moving on to papers, if bench-wise also, if you ask children to write and show you in air, you know who has got it correctly, you know who has not got it correctly. Again, this is the first imitation skill in a group children should have. So handwriting does not only look at writing skills. Again, if the approach is done this way, you're looking at the overall development of the child with respect to sitting tolerance, with respect to building in sitting tolerance, again, helping them to sit in a classroom for so long. You're looking at if you have an ADHD child in the class who cannot sit for a long time, then air drawing will be the best way that you can. It's not only letters and numbers, you can ask them to write words too. Yes, make it as fun as possible. Yes, air drawing with letters and numbers is most fun thing that I have seen, and it's very like it gives you the whole body movements also in the class. Yes. Going ahead to the next one, ensure children follow the sequence of writing. Now, what do I mean by sequence of writing? As I told you, F has to be written as F. First, there should be a big standing line which comes from top to bottom. Then we jump up. Then you make a first small sleeping line from the top. You jump to the middle, then make a small sleeping line in the middle. Only then it becomes an F. Yes. Again, why structuring so much? Because if you want a nice writing, proper writing skill, proper handwriting, which can be fast, which can be finished in time, please help them to learn in a structured way. It's not only teaching them, you're also helping them to say orally so they can never go wrong with reversals. When a child is not able to say how does a letter look like or what are the lines that make a letter, visually they have not perceived the letter. Yeah, or else they don't have the appropriate vocabulary to express you. Yeah, it need not be only they don't know. They need not have the appropriate vocabulary to write. Yes, to tell you, to express it to you. Yeah. Again, when coming back to air drawing can be helped to all children. Yeah, to any kind of disability. Yeah, If they are partially mobile too, if their hands are functional, then you can teach them air drawing. AST, ADHD, I do not prefer labeling children, but whatever labels you can put them under, your air drawing can help them achieve the letters and the numbers. Yeah, it need not be only on the paper teaching. Again, coming back to the next, keep practicing copy draw shapes, simple drawings, figurines. Now, drawing is an important skill. Yeah, half the time. Why is it important? Let me tell you one thing. I have drawn the 26 record books of my classroom because I could draw. Yeah, it's, if I think now, then I feel pity for all those who did not have the appropriate drawing skills. Yeah, at least the basic drawing skills children should attain so that they can at least write the amoeba properly. Yeah, amoeba is a shapeless thing, but at least it has a little shape, right? You have to give it a little shape. Yeah, so please, at every standard, ensure that the drawings help them in their learning resources too. Yeah, most of the schools, as far as I see, drawing goes too much into formal drawing. Yeah, only some may be interested in that. But what about the day-to-day drawing that they have to live with? Biology has so many drawings, chemistry has so many drawings. Yeah, if a child is asked in a maths class to draw a certain number of shapes, the child should be able to draw a shape, right? So handwriting doesn't stop only for ABCDs. Yeah, it has to be looked at every angle. Even the drawing teachers need to know the developmental order so that they teach developmentally appropriate drawings to children when they are teaching. Going ahead to the next one, they should be able to copyright simple words. Now, once we have attained all these things, when they know to write letters, capital letters, uppercase letters, lowercase letters, then we start with simple words. As such, in UKG, they start with the sight words. So your writing also can start with sight words. Yeah. Then move on to sentences. At all the time, please use timers or counts. Yeah, that will help us to help children. Yeah, like for example, if I have to train my child to write a page or a 5-sentence writing in 15 minutes in grade 1, I have to make children do many activities within time. Now, this timers for writing will happen only when they use timers in their regular activities too. Yeah, if they don't have time or if they don't stick on to time with their eating skills, yeah, and their dressing skills, we will not be able to put them across into a timed writing when they are going ahead. So writing, again, as a part of pre-writing, there are many household activities that children need to do. Yeah, please do not consider it as child labor. Yeah, please help your children to do as many activities as they can at the household front. If they need, there are many children complaining of, "Mummy, my hand is paining, so I cannot write." Maybe it's paining because they don't have so much of exercise with their hands. Yeah, they don't eat on their own, so they may be fed. Bags are, shoelaces are not there, everything is par now. So again, life has become easy for them. So there were many skills that we as children did with our hands. Yeah, children are missing out now on in the current generation. So please get them back to all those skills that they have missed. Peeling curry pattas, removing pudina leaves, methi leaves, such a beautiful activity. Removing avrekado, okay, beans. It was, I hated that activity, but now I feel very happy for my father to make me do that because I have good peeling skills. Yeah. So again, with all these things, you're not only looking at handwriting, yeah, you're looking at their sensory skills too. Any child having sensory issues may end up in writing difficulties. Again, work on their tactile issues. Yeah, then you will Gradually, you will see writing also becoming easy for them. You're not bombarding them with only writing. Yeah, it may not happen. Again, as you told you, if I go ahead with this on front with a child, they may again say, I will not come to Manju's class. Yeah, or I may not come to so-and-so's class. Yeah, writing should be fun. As I told you in the first slide, the main purpose of today's thing is making writing meaningful, easy, structured, and happy. Writing should make children happy. Yes. Okay, I think I have come to the end of my discussions. If you all feel okay, then if you all are ready with a pen and paper, I can show you the basic writing letters of shapes. Or if you're okay with it, then I can take up some questions because I think it's 8 as of now. I will stop the screen share, yeah, so that I can get on to some other screen. Yeah.
Anybody have pressing questions, or shall we continue with some more?
Can we have this recorded as somebody has asked in the chat?
I please, can somebody help me with reading that?
Yes, one more.
Thank you.
This recording, yes, if you have registered, you'll have registered through Zoom, right? So the recording on YouTube, the link will be sent to all of you within a week.
And can you also share the PDF if possible?
Oh, yes, Miss Manju, if you can share it with me, I'll share it with the link as well.
Sure, ma'am, I shall do that. Yeah.
And Ms. Manju, as you mentioned earlier, air drawing would help the child. Can we also use drawing skills on sand?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Please feel free to use many things. That's what when I told you about writing skills, please do not restrict it to pen and paper. Yeah. Please move on to the other things. You have clay. You can make letters with clay. If you have to help, or if you have to identify whether they are able to place the lines properly, then ask them to do with clay. Yeah. If they are able to sequence the lines on the clay models properly, then you know that their sequencing and their start is correct. As sand is good. There are different types of sand. If no sand is available, another interesting way is, now anyway it's rainy season. If you take children on your cars, if there is moisture on the windscreen, please ask them to draw there. So you can teach drawing anywhere with anything, but it's just that you have to be a little creative. Get out of books and paper.
Can you use the flour that is atta?
Yes.
Chapati
Clay,
atta.
Yes. Please do not, when I say sand, don't buy kinesthetic sand. Okay. I see whenever I prefer not to say anything because parents nowadays are on the mode of buying. You have many resources at home. You have atta, rice atta, plain rice atta. You mix the rice atta and make it into a dough, that becomes your clay for home. Or it's okay if you have to. Mixing atta itself is such a beautiful fine motor activity. Making a dough with an atta is a beautiful sensory activity, fine motor activity. Okay, you name whatever you want. It's a sitting tolerance activity, tactile. It can get into sensory. It can get into anywhere that you want. Yes. So do not buy. Again, one more before somebody asks. There are many equipments that children have. Was my video off all the while? I didn't know.
No.
No, the video is on.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, we can see.
There are many grippers that children have. Yeah. I think as naturally as they can develop, let's try. If children are not able to get those holding properly, then we can go for the assisted devices, what we have for pencils. Yeah. If not, for example, let me just show you this. Some children hold on to their pencils so far. Yeah. So there are many things available where you can fix something over here, grippers, pencil grippers, where they can hold exactly here. Don't invest on this. Tie a rubber band. Yeah. Tie a rubber band over here and they'll tell them, hand should not go out of the rubber band. If the hand slips back, then please ensure that you come front. Again, see, this is a beautiful activity. Like moving without stopping the pencil, coming to the end of the pencil and coming front. A beautiful activity, a fun activity that you can do with your children. Yes, that was one thing. Any other? I think I have Alice.
Hi, mom.
Hi.
Alice here. So my question is, for my kid, okay, they are like around 3 to 6 years. I'm working, okay, and they have issues with writing within the boundaries. They can make proper letters, and they are aware of spatial. Are aware of spatial orientation, okay, but when it comes to the small space, they are not like they're not writing within the boundary, so inside the box or inside the line, so we face challenge in that. So how to overcome this?
Good. First thing, practice air drawing. Yeah, if you have a cupboard like this at home, or if you have a cupboard in your therapy center like this, let me just now this, if this is the cupboard that you have, now this is a big boundary that I have. Yes, please help children to write on this big boundary. I make a big F here. Yeah. Start from bigger spaces. Whenever there is an issue with the boundary concept, start from big first. They should be able to draw on their table. They should be able to draw on the cupboards. They should be able to draw on their iPads if they get to school, or on their notebooks. Then come to these small pads, then smaller edits, then on their phones. You have your phone, you don't have anything else, make them air draw on this. Yes, and then move on to smaller spaces on the book. Yeah, with this itself, you will be able to understand whether they have a good control. If they don't have a good control, right, they may not be able to write inside the boundary. Yes, so please get them good control with their hands using the big objects. It need not be only an air drawing. Okay, you can use paint, big white papers, make them paint, hand paint. Yes, or another way can be, you can one is paint, one is, you can make them draw on crayon if you are okay with it. You can stick big white papers and then make them draw with the crayon itself big.
Those are better.
Big. See, again, the developmental order always is from big to small, right? So if they're able to fit things in a bigger space, when you gradually reduce, yeah, they will be able to fit into that putty tiny box. Yeah, for sure, I can tell you they'll be able to fit into that 4-line book or into the box books. Yeah, but the thing has to be start from big and then go smaller as much as you want. Yes, I hope I've answered your question.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes. Hi.
Yeah, one child, he's at second standard, but still he's not getting writing skills. So I just wanted to know like how they will able to ABCD also is not able to recognize. Now he started recognizing.
So where does he stand? If you look at the developmental order of the record, where does he stand? Is he at least, does he have sitting tolerance? Number one. Second thing, is he at least able to scribble?
That all he's able to do because of since 2 years of sitting at home and learning nursery, LKG, UKG because of pandemic. So the writing skill, everything is gone. So
then I consider his mental age to be pre-KG itself with respect to writing. So the school teachers or the therapists have to work with him, not apart from the
parents met me. Okay, the parents met me and they said that they have only 12 kids in the class, but still the teachers are not able to understand how to make them. So I think the teachers professionally is not up to that mark to guide the child.
Very true. I agree with you on that.
I don't want to comment on that. But I think it's
no, it's not comment. I'm just not commenting any teachers. But I think that psychology of the child is very important when we are teaching in a pre-K, pre-nursery or that, because the foundation of the child, each child is different and unique. So we can mold them in the right stage, in the right early stage. Then it becomes like better for them. Like they are all are equally challenged, equally are talented. But only thing is the difference of teachers depends, because one is very picking fast and then will motivate them. The others is demotivated.
Yeah,
You are
there
not
are
writing.
too
So
many
that is-
factors to comment on this. So I think we'll have to kind of look at it
Maybe
individually.
if you can talk to the teachers and help them to understand, I think that would be great. Let's not negate anybody over here. They also may need help. Yes.
No,
So
no, sorry.
we will also
Because
try
there
to
was a
help the
neighbor.
teachers as much as possible so that they can help the number of children that they have in their school. If they're ready to take any kind of training, I think we will be ready to help them.
I
Yes.
think Sunaini was.
I'll recommend.
Sunaini raised her hand next. Miss Sunaini.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi,
My
Sunaini.
name is Sinani. I'm a counseling psychology student. So the question that I wanted to ask was particularly to do with multiple languages. So when we are like, as in like I learned Kannada, I think when I was 7 or 8 years old, along with English. So just trying to understand, would there be a clash? How do we draw a boundary between several languages when we're teaching? Because the scripting is very different from every language.
Number one, they should be having, again, everything comes to the literacy. Number one, they should be able to identify the letters orally, both the languages, both or three, whatever language. Orally, they should be correct. Yes, they should be able to identify any letter at any point of the time, in whichever way you show them. Yeah, it is not only by rote. Children say I eat till aha. But if you ask a children to identify any letter in between, if they are not identifying it, then it means that they don't have the pre-skills itself. So focus on that first. They should be able to get the letters correctly, the memory of the letters correctly. If they are able to identify letters, then move on to the second step. It goes exactly like how we teach English, any language. First is number one, they should be able to identify the letters in and out without even, it should not be only in the order. It should not be in the sequence. If the child is able to say in the sequence, please tell them to say it from different order. Yes, if they are not able to identify, then we know where the problem is, number one. Yes, if we know where the problem is, like if they're not able to identify at random letters, then we will focus on that first. Along with that, we will again focus on the letter writing formations. Now, in Kannada, Hindi, and Sanskrit, we may not be able to divide it like how we divide it in English. Yeah, because everything is with curves and lines. Apart from curves and lines, not much major thing. So when you are teaching them, it needs to be taught. It can be taught in an order itself. Yeah. But for that, first thing is they should be able to identify the letters. As they are identifying, teach them writing. Again, air drawing, air tracing, drawing on the sand, all these principles hold good for any language that you want to teach. Yes. Again, one more thing. Whenever you're teaching writing to any children, yeah, please use the plain notebooks as much as possible so that you can teach them to draw big. It's just like a drawing skill. Yeah, just like a drawing skill.
Because they're all like symbols that we're trying to train the kids with. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Yes,
Hi, ma'am.
Miss Lalita Ravali.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am. Thanks for this session. It was very helpful. I have 3.5 years old daughter, and as from the session details, I could see that she's having each point from every milestone. Like 3 to 4 years, she do have sitting tolerance, but 2 to 3 years, coloring within the boundary is not something which she's meeting, and 4 to 5 years, she's able to draw lines. So I'm just trying to understand where is she falling in.
Now, what is
She's a
concern?
special child.
What's her concern?
She has issues with coordination and fine motor skills. She's a CP child. She is good with her route memory. She has started doing standing lines, sleeping lines, bigger circles, and scribbles.
Good.
Coloring within the boundary is still, she's able to color, but not within the boundary. So when I have gone back and I was looking at all the details that you have put in, so I was just seeing she's falling one each, but not meeting all the criteria which is needed. So I'm just confused.
Ma'am.
And I did order hand grip pencil, hand grips, and all those as well. So I am being in the buying parent as well as trying to do things what I could do for her. So advice for me and for her as well.
Number one, make her life easy. Yeah. Now, when you have a definite diagnosis with a child and has a serious disability, it's okay for whatever she's doing. Please keep her happy. Let her type. Yeah, typing is much more easier than writing. That's one of the simplest skill that you can teach her. Not everybody need to draw. If I do not have the basic mobility to write, but if I can do the basic shapes, work on her writing skills. Yes, I'm not asking you to stop working on writing skills. Start from the 2 years age. Whatever is 2 years age she has done and she has missed, start from those itself. Don't miss out on any of the milestones that I've told you. Keep preparing her for that with her. Along with that, start typing. Now, if I have my certificate, my disability certificate, I will be allowed to type. Policies have changed.
Okay.
They can be helped. They can type out.
She is as from the session I'm having it's helping me as a parent to understand how does my child doing, and also having a knowledge of each milestone. So that really helped me. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Just give me 1 second. I'll be back. I just have to show my face to my daughter and I'll be back. She's just a little crying.
No worries at all.
Give me 1 minute, ma'am.
But you're okay, right, to come back? Yes. Sure. No worries. So I think it is good that she's okay to extend. So whoever want to stay can stay. And whatever is there in the chat box, I will discuss with Manju and see what we can come up with. We have your email IDs with your registration. We'll share you this link and PPT and the other resources that we can. And when you're leaving, there's a survey with just 3 questions. Please do fill them up so we can plan our next sessions. It'll help us plan our next sessions.
Okay, and ma'am, just a quick question. Do you have any other material for sitting tolerance or something as such? Because
maybe can we know what is your background?
actually my child is 5 years old and he does not have sitting tolerance. And as ma'am discussed that sitting tolerance is something that's the basic, that's when we can work on memory, size, sequence, control, spacing and everything. So I'm a parent. I feel like, my kid is 5 years old and he's got a speech delay. He says a lot of words, but he doesn't do a sentence structure. Okay, he doesn't speak in sentence. He says ice cream, let's go out. So he speaks like that. So sitting tolerance is something that I'm working on, because I put him in a school and school also said, like, our teachers can't handle him. So we have to take him out of the school. So we are taking him for therapies right now. So if there's something as a parent, not as a special educator, what I can do for my kid for sitting tolerance, that would be really helpful.
So do you play with your child?
Yeah, I do. I take him for a park and he's very good with me.
Good. So can you tell me what are the play that you play as a father with your child? I don't want park.
Okay, so play in the sense, like we have this puzzle activity, we have different squares, shapes and everything. So he puts that in the box. I do painting.
It's a cognitive activity. What are the play skills that you have developed for your child? Play. I mean play. The literal play, apart from the park and apart from the puzzles.
That is something that I was looking for, because I'm not sure what exactly I'm doing. So.
Play, bat and ball, throw and catch.
Yeah.
As a child, I'm sure you would have played that. Run and
but
catch.
He doesn't judge the ball. When I give him the bat, he throws it, and when I throw the ball, he will just he doesn't know the speed, the way I throw the ball. And
so regulate your speed. You have told the answer. Regulate your speed. Now, if you have got him assessed and if you know the mental age of your child, Yes.
Okay.
Please throw the ball according to the mental age of the child. A 1-year-old child cannot judge a ball coming as fast as I throw for a 6 to 7-year-old child. Throw the ball slowly, roll it down. You don't have to do a bowling for him. You
Yeah.
don't have to play cricket with him. Play bat and ball. Throw the ball slowly with him, to him. He will be able to judge. Again, when we are moving from big to small with respect to writing skills, with respect to play skills, we have to move from slow to fast. Yeah.
Okay.
Only a child will be able to run fast and catch you if the child knows to run slowly. If the child has a basic motor ability and coordination to run or to walk, then he will be able to run slowly. Then from slow, the child increases speed to fast. Then he will run fast. Right?
Okay.
So start things slowly with him and whatever he likes. Yeah. He likes puzzles. Good. So 2 rounds of, again, when it comes to sitting tolerance, it need not be actual sitting tolerance, like sitting on a floor doing activities. Sitting tolerance is being mentally present, mentally, physically present for any activity that I do. I need to require sitting tolerance when I'm cooking. Yes. Even though I stand and cook, I need to have sitting tolerance. If I don't have a tolerance towards the activity that I'm doing, whether sitting or standing, I may not be able to cook well. Right?
Yes.
Sitting tolerance is not, it doesn't go by the literal sense. Sitting tolerance, no. And the time that I devote attentively to anything that I do will be called as a sitting tolerance. Right? So anything that your child will do, play with, even in the park that you are taking the child, apart from the same slide activities or seesaw or swing activities, take a bat and ball there.
Okay.
You can start playing with other children. That becomes a very good modeling for your child to come and play with you. Yes. Do not judge the child. Any child will learn, but we have to go slowly with them. And please don't compare them with others. Play. When I mean play, please play with your child. That is the most important thing that can teach any kind of sitting tolerance.
Yes. I'll work on it.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Maybe one last question, or Miss Manju, are you okay for one last question?
I think I can extend for another 15 to 20 minutes. It's okay. She's in a safe. She's started eating, so it's okay.
Okay. Fine. So, Mr. Dilip.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am. Thank you for this question. So my son is 5 years old. So he knows how to write everything, but when he starts writing, he's distracting very easily. Like one letter he will write, and then he will tell some story, and then you want to go out and then come back, and he'll sit for the second letter. So for the 4 lines to write, he will take 1 hour. So, but sometimes if I'm not there, or sometimes he is having an interest, he will finish it in 5 minutes. So how we can handle this, ma'am?
Now, when he has an interest, what do you mean by interest? Is that interest associated to some activity that he gets to do after writing?
I don't know. Few days he will only tell, "Mummy, I will only write like that. You go and work." That time, if I go, he will finish it 5 minutes, and he will tell, "Mummy, I finished it." He will write it very nicely that time. But
Smart
when
boy.
yeah,
Smart boy. I think he would have sensed what you're cooking or where you are going out today.
Zoom class lo undan cheppo
Even he would have sensed it. See, always when a child is motivated to do at times and not motivated to do at many of the other times, there is something that the child is expecting, or it may not also be expecting. He's a smart child, as far as I get to know with a little bit of conversations that you have given me about your child. He knows what is going to happen next. So he would have written fast that day. Maybe you will have to do a little bit of ABC, that is antecedent behavior, a consequence that happens after writing. To check why did he write fast today. I think couple of days, please observe him. Whenever he writes fast, just check what was the next activity that he got to do. So if that is a big reinforcer, then you know what to tell him. Chalo Nana, finish writing, then we know where we will go. The days he doesn't want to write, it's okay, I think. He is 5 years 5 years old, and I think is he in UKG?
Yeah, LKG, ma'am, because some age.
Fair enough. Good. It's okay. Let him go slowly. Don't pressurize him to write. But the day he is writing, if he is writing well, please appreciate him for the days that he writes well.
Okay.
Yeah, you can keep a timer for him. You can use mobile timers for him. Nana, we have just 5 minutes time. Can we finish this letter within this time?
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
timers always are very interesting for children. Before the clock says cuckoo, please finish writing, they will write.
yeah, even in the school also, the ma'am will tell sometime he's little lazy to write like that. But sometimes they will tell he finished it quickly. I'm not able to understand him. Some days he's good, some days
You'll have to look at the timetable whenever he's good. If
okay.
his writing class is associated with the next sports class, then he would have absolutely finished writing, because he
Okay.
would not want to miss the sports class. Yeah,
Okay.
you'll have to
Yeah.
look at his day-to-day timetable and day-to-day activities that he does, that he gets to do when he does a beautiful job.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
got it.
please analyze yourself, then you will be able to understand.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I think there is one interesting question in the chat box. So how important do you feel is cursive writing, as in schools being made mandatory for children?
You know what? There is no rule written in any kind of syllabus, either it's CBSE, ICSE, or the state board. Nowhere they have mandatory cursive writing. Yeah, it is. I don't know why is that undue pressure coming on to cursive writing. If you see, writing is important. Print also gives you beautiful writing. Yeah, whatever we see on the laptop or on the digital media, it's no more cursive. If you want to change it too, you can change the font. Otherwise, everything was print. I think it's okay if the child is writing print neatly, legibly, correctly, which includes all the main 8 components of writing. If teachers are pressurizing for cursive, I think it will be nice. You can express it in a very nice way, because your child has to stay in that school for a very long time, that it's okay. Is it okay if my child writes in print? And you can also tell them, give an assurance saying that I shall prepare for the cursive writing meanwhile. You will have to handle teachers very, very beautifully. It's an art to handle teachers. So please learn the art ASAP, so that you can have a better time for your children. Cursive, there is no preferred, as far as I know, no syllabus asks you to write only in cursive. Writing is important. Written expression is important, not how you write.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. This is Varsha. I have a doubt. What if a child has unfinished writing, like writing some unfinished letters, like not joining the letters properly? So, what do we do? How do we treat them? Like, how do we make them write?
Then I think you need to look at his drawings. Now, let me just. I think if I use the whiteboard, will you be able to see? Let me just try out. Now you have to look at his drawing skills. If the child is not finishing his letters, then I'm sure he won't be finishing his drawings too. Circle, unfinished squares. He may not be able. Yeah, then we need to focus on closures. Yeah, closures is very important thing. As how boundary-based coloring is important, focusing on closures is very important. If he is not able to close properly, then I think we need to teach him. One of the strategies will be, let me just take the whiteboards. No, let me share you another screen. One moment.
Yes, ma'am. Like he scribbles, he draws properly, but the thing is, he doesn't finish these letters in a proper way.
Then we need to work on that first. Let me just one moment. Let me just share the screen. Yeah, I have taken a 4-line. It's okay. The same principle applies even for a plain notebook. So, for example, if a child is not able to close closure drawing, if a drawing like this, then I think you need to work on giving him a number 1 is please create a visual dot for him. So he starts from here and he has to come back here. Yeah. So when he gets this, like I think closures are required for only the letters which are curved. Like see, if a child is writing F like this, if a child is writing F like this, yes, then it means that he is not able to, where does he have to start? He has to start from the line. Yeah. So the next time he writes like this, please erase only these two lines. Again, erasing only these two lines, you're not erasing this line because he already knows to write the standing line. Ensure that, ask him to start from the top, from touch the line, then make a right side. Again, touch the line, then go down right. That's how you
even if we keep dots on this main line, like the standing line, and ask him to start from the dot, maybe on supervision, like they do it, but once the supervision is not there, or when I leave him to write, he again does this unfinished letters.
For example, if you're making him write 5 times, yeah, the question is how many times? So like every 5 times you're asking him to write, please keep dots.
Okay, ma'am.
Start from here. Right. So if you want him to write 5 times, do this. If you want him to write 10 times, please prepare the sheet so that he doesn't get lost. Till he gets the hang of it, till he achieves to write.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. So it applies for all the alphabets, like even A,
it's the same principle can be applied for, but not for curved letters. Yeah, for example, C, you can only give them 1 dot. C.
Yeah. Okay.
S again, here it is curved S. Yes?
Yes.
That can be one of the ways.
I think I have found difficulty for him in writing these lines, like the letters which includes line. Only that he writes unfinished, but which includes curves, he writes it properly.
Then he doesn't know. Then he doesn't have the control to jump back to this line and then end.
Okay, fine.
So it needs a little bit of monitoring. Make him do on, give him clay activities, the art activities where he connects it. He has to make and he has to connect. If he connects there, and if he is not connecting on the paper, then you always have a model to show him. Here you have connected it, only then it makes an F. If you keep lines like this, it doesn't make an F.
Okay, ma'am. Sure.
Right? So give him a clay activity and ask him to transfer that onto the book.
Okay, ma'am. Sure. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome.
As a clue, can we also place a sticker? Like most of the time, what happens while we are teaching, we try to use the same pen. For example, when I start with black pencil and I also make a dot of the black, that might be an issue. Can I just put a sticker or a different color as a cue for the child to start where, to join? Can we do that?
You can, not at all an issue, but then please check for the generalization. Because usually when it is a school, when they tend to school, it's only the pencil and paper, right? The pen and the paper. If we are creating any other kind of reinforcers for children, we always have to ensure that they should be able to transfer that or they generalize that appropriately when it comes to schooling. Whatever we are doing here, it should not affect their group participation, right? A child individually, whatever you do, he can do. Yeah. But the same child should not go to school and say that only if there is this sticker, I will write. So think for this. On a one-on-one basis, you can do. But tell him, Amma is giving or I'm giving you as a teacher. But in school, you may not get this. You may get a dot. So please be prepared for that. As a motivational factor, you can use stickers. You can use stars. You can use whatever reinforces that you want children to have for the writing. Yes, that's not an issue. But prepare them that this is not going to be the same when they get into the schooling system. Yeah, that we'll have to be very, very careful. Even during therapies, what we'll have to use the methodologies that are suitable for their schooling. If you teach something and if it is not matching, then again, children will have confusion. My teacher teaches me like this, I will do like that only. Those conversations may be a little peaceful for teachers who are not open-minded. Yeah.
Okay, I think one last question. Lot of them
Yes,
have been asking about assessment in children with ADHD and ASD. How are there any assessment tools? How do we assess their writing or I think fine motor skills?
Yes,
Are there any?
we have a formal assessment which is developed by Dr. Nandini and her team of professionals. It's called as a SMILES project, where it's a purely assessment protocol for ADHD children. So maybe we can share that information across. It is there is a formal test. You can get that done. Not only in there are fine motor skills also assessed there. So there are tests which we can use for ASD and ADHD too.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think we have overshot, and thank you so much, Ms. Manju, for being flexible. So now I think we'll call upon Shama to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the opportunity. I hope I've done justice to everybody.
Yes, it was a wonderful.
You can please connect back to me. You can connect to Dr. Gauri. She will direct to me, or Dr. Gauri has eminent specialists there with her, so they can help you out. Yeah.
Sure. Shama,
Hello
over.
all. On behalf of my team, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our guest, Ms. Manju ma'am, who spread this valuable time with us. We all have an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this is surely going to encourage and help us in future. And thank you so much, ma'am. This was such an informative session for all of us. And I would also like to thank all the members who have joined and made it so interactive. Also, much thank to Dr. Gauri ma'am who have organized the session and all my team members who worked in the background. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shama.
Thank you.